crack a cold one, or don't, and let's talk about brewery stuff. I meant to film this last week to be more genuine with timelines and stuff, but I just never got to it. But a week ago was my 2-year anniversary of working in the brewery. Sorry for the crunching noises. I was trying to distract Arrow so that he wouldn't be bothering me in this video, and now he's taking it over here to crunch very loudly. 2 years feels so wild to me because I didn't think I would make it like even a year, because I had no idea what my goal was when I started working in the back. I think this video is more for me to like have a reference to look back on and be like, oh wow, you were at this point. Like the crunching, oh, I had to move, the crunching was too much. As I was saying, this video is more for me to like look back on and just see the progress, because in the 2 years that I've been working in the back, there has been so much progress, because I didn't think I would learn as much as I have. I had thought about for a while that being a brewer might be something that I'd be interested in, but then I would think about being on the brew deck or just like anything to do with tanks, or I don't know, like science and math, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna be for me. I know like I can follow a recipe and I can bake and I can cook, but to apply that to beer and everything else that comes with that, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So then finding my way in the back of the brewery was kind of just a weird but happy accident, because I had been serving at this brewery for a few months, maybe close to a year, I can't remember, I think it was just a few months, and they were kind of looking at me to be a shift lead. So then they were asking more questions about like, do you want more responsibility? And I was like, I don't know about more responsibility, but if you have stuff in the back. I've been a server at lots of jobs and I'm not bad at it. Like, I like having like tips and stuff, but it's not my passion. Like talking to people and trying to, I don't know, like have like that server voice all the time, not for me. And so if I could find other tasks, then that is more ideal. Anyway, so I say if there's stuff in the back, but to be honest, I didn't really know what that meant that I was saying in the back, because I didn't know what else there was. I just knew I didn't want to be fully like in charge and in the front. So then my manager was like, oh, in the back, do you mean like kitchen or brewery? And then because I hadn't thought about it, I was like, brewery's an option? That's kind of cool. And I knew that someone else was helping with keg washing, and I was interested in it, but I didn't want to take somebody else's job. But anyway, so then they asked and I was like, oh, brewery. And then my manager was like, oh, you want to help in the brewery? And I was like, yeah, I do. I guess, yeah, that sounds great. And he was like, okay, I need to go tell the brewer right now. This is really exciting. And it just happened so fast. I was like, oh, okay. And so he runs to the back, comes back to the front, and he's like, we're actually doing a collab with another brewery tomorrow. Bring your work clothes and like prepare to learn, because this is happening now. I was like, all right, sounds great. So the whole next day, I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to like really immerse myself into this collab, which when you're doing a collab, you're drinking all day. You're not really doing brew stuff. But luckily the brewer that day, he was like, oh, if you want to see what it's like being a brewer, I'm gonna put you to work. So I was like, okay. But at this point, everything happened so fast, I didn't know if I wanted to be a brewer. And everyone kept asking me that day, they were like, oh, I had no idea that you wanted to be a brewer, like, are you gonna go to school for this? Or like, what are your hopes for this kind of thing? And like so many people were asking me, and I was like, honestly, I have no idea what's going on. I just mentioned that it would be cool, and I don't know. But at this point, I was like, I'm definitely not going to be a brewer, but I am interested in learning stuff. Shortly after conversation with the brewer at my brewery, and yeah, he's like, I just need a helper. If you want to learn more stuff, let me know. If you're feeling like this isn't for you, then let me know, and we'll just like keep you as a helper, and I won't, waste my time trying to like train you about a bunch of stuff. And that was like a big anxiety for me, because I was like, yeah, I don't know where I want to go with this, so don't put all your energy into me, because I don't know. Which leads to my day one in the brewery story, because there's always a story with me, because I'm a bit of a ditz. Unknowingly, I don't know. This is 5 minutes into my first shift. I'm a mess. I'm so shaky. I'm like, I don't really know the brewer very well, so I'm like, I don't want to look like a fool, and I want to be helpful. I don't want to be stupid. And so I have a lot of anxiety. He shows me like how to set up the keg washer and everything, and we like put the chemical in there and get it all done. That was like a 5-minute thing, and then he was like, okay, I'm gonna go change. I had put my coffee cup on the keg washer when I came in. I just like set it down because it's like a big flat surface, and putting a coffee cup near chemical is something that I don't do anymore, because I don't know if it was caustic that got onto my cup. We think it might have been something else, but that was the only chemical that we had used at that point. But he goes to go get changed, and I take a sip of my coffee, and just like immediately, like, I don't swallow, because right here just like has this really weird feeling. Like it was like cold all of a sudden, and then like really tingly. I was like, oh, I got a chemical on my coffee cup. I run to the bathroom, and I was like, it's 5 minutes into my shift. Of course, I'm not gonna tell anyone. Like, if I tell them that I just potentially swallowed caustic, or I know, I should have told somebody, but if I told them, then they'd be like, okay, actually, yeah, no, we're gonna look in another direction. So then I run to the bathroom, I like scrub my mouth so hard, it like feels like I have Botox just on like one side, because it's just like giant. It feels giant. It doesn't, when I went and looked in the mirror, it looked normal. But it was so uncomfortable all day, and didn't tell anyone all day. I told my friend that was working that day, I like ran to the front, and I was like, you will not believe what just happened, do not tell anyone. But like somebody should know, I guess. As weeks went on, I was starting to like open up a bit to learning more, and the brewer had already kind of been like teaching me more stuff. And the more I learned, I was like, okay, like I'm actually getting it, sort of. Like some things definitely took longer than others to process, but I was getting it. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this, so like maybe I should just like keep learning stuff. And then as months went on, then I was still like, no, I'm not going to be a brewer, but the line that I've still always said to this day is, I'm going to go as far as I can go, as my brain lets me, as my body lets me, and just see what happens. Like, it's, I don't know, I don't want to have like too much expectations. I have goals that so far I've been meeting, so that's nice. But I don't want to be like, oh yeah, in this many years, like, I'll be doing this, because that puts a lot of pressure on it, and I have no idea. Like, I had no idea I'd be here. I've said this a million times already. I had no idea. So fast forward, that was started in April 2021. Yeah. Yeah? 2023? Yes. Started in April 2023. I learned a bunch of stuff, but I still wasn't at the point of brewing, and I was only working 1 day a week in the back. I was still serving the other days of the week because they just didn't have space and financials to have me more. And then New Year comes around, February comes around, and our brewery goes through a bunch of layoffs, and my brewer gets laid off, which I freaked out about. Like, when you're working in the brewery, you just like, that's the only person that you're working with. So like your buddies and like he was teaching me stuff, and I was like, okay, now he's gone, now what? Like, I finally had this plan in my head, because any other job I have, I don't know, it, like, they don't last super long because it's just like not as fulfilling, or like, I don't know, drama with work always happens or something. And I finally had a plan of like, I don't know, just keep learning. And so when he got let go, I was like, there was another brewer that was there, but like in that moment I was like, I don't know what is gonna happen. Because of that situation, then they really were like, we're not gonna be able to have you full time. It was kind of at a place where they still wanted me just 1 day, and they didn't want me to learn new things because that would mean taking more time away from the other brewer. I was just like going through the motions, still not sure like where I want to go with it. Then I started looking into brew school, but I heard not even mixed reviews. I heard most reviews were like, don't do it, like you're better off to learn on the job. So that's February that all this stuff happens. I keep trying to like push for me to be able to learn more, me having more days. They keep saying no. Then in May of last year, I see a like help wanted ad for a cellar person at this brewery that when I lived in another city, I don't want to get specific. I know everyone knows where I'm from and everything, but I just don't want to say it. I see a help wanted ad from this brewery that is very well known. I went there all the time. Me and Chris went there. We bring our dogs there. We're there like almost every weekend when we lived in that city. So I know a ton of the people. But I was like, yeah, that would be crazy if I got hired there. But I looked at the description. I was like, I mean, it's like most of the stuff I feel like I know how to do it. I was like, I could at least send in a resume, and if they're like, yeah, no, we're looking for someone more experienced, then fair enough, but like, may as well try. And mind you, this is a place that's like an hour drive from me, so this means potentially commuting, but whatever, it's fine. I emailed the brewer from there, and I was like, hey, what days and how many days are you looking for? And he was like, oh, like 2 days to start, probably like Monday, Tuesday. I was like, okay, so that's already exactly what I'm looking for, okay. And then not long after, like still the same day, he was like, actually we should talk, like, are you available to have a phone call? Anyway, I feel like I have to fast forward through everything. I get hired, yay, start 2 days a week. I get thrown into it pretty fast, and me being a very anxious person, I did not sleep for so long. I would have dreams about trying to remember everything at work. In here for a second, because I have, I think, 2 or 3 videos from when I was first hired onto this new job that I was trying to film like as I go and learn, and I feel like they'll be useful here because you'll see how anxious I am in the videos. I have to talk about something that made me happy this weekend, because I feel like for us anxious people, we like need I was gonna say a lot of validation. I would like a lot of validation, but I don't need it. It is helpful. I've started this new seller position like a few months ago, and I feel like I'm doing well, but I'm just always anxious and always overthinking and not really sure like how my bosses really think about the work that I'm doing. So we went out, and I went out to like this festival type thing, where my bosses were and like a lot of people who know me in the industry. I got a lot of really good feedback from a few friends and just like a few people who are at the company that I work for, and they just said like that I'm killing it, that they're enjoying having me there, and like sometimes that's just needed. Like, I just wanted to talk. I'm on a little adventure. It's nice getting my fresh air, but today was a hard one mentally. I don't know, I'm laughing at like my last video was like, I'm so confident now and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and now no, all confidence gone. So the last few months I've been working with the head brewer because the assistant brewer who I usually work with, or who I usually would work with, was away for a few months. So I've been training with the head brewer, and they're just like, you know, different people, so they communicate differently. Now the guy that I'm supposed to be working with more is back, and I don't know if anyone else who is an anxious person gets this, but I feel like when I was doing it by myself, I like had more confidence, or I just had like the time to think by myself. I didn't have like someone watching me, which I know that he's like not trying to micromanage or anything, but just the fact that like he's here and I haven't really worked with him in a long time, and I know that he's like watching me. I was doing a transfer of a beer, and so I needed the starting tank to be at 15 psi, and it was below, so I was like pressurizing it, but it just like pressurized so fast. I don't know what happened. It's never done that before, and I noticed it kind of the same time that he noticed it, and we were both like, oh shit, and trying to like, let's not blow this place up. And I was like, I promise I haven't done that. Or like, I haven't tried to blow up the place before. So then that was like the first few minutes of the job, or of the day today. And then it was just like little things that like I thought I was doing right, and I don't know. It was just like either overthinking it or not thinking enough, or just like doing it a little bit different than like what I'm supposed to do, but that's what I thought I was supposed to do. So, I don't know. When your day starts like that, and then you're kind of in your head, and then you go through the rest of the day of like just kicking yourself, of like, I am a liability to all these people around me, to myself, like just fire me. I think that's really what you should do, is fire me. You know, I've done my time. I've got my face on a beer label. I feel like I've made it in the beer world, maybe. Haven't brewed anything by myself yet, but it's fine. Just fire me. I'll be okay. I won't. I mean, I'll be very sad, but anyway. So now I'm on a walk. I'm trying to just take some deep breaths, know that it just takes time, and not to rush anything. I try to start my day with just saying to myself, like, just do the best that you can do, try your hardest. That's all you can do. We are almost a year later. I started June 10th at this place, and I'm brewing now. I can brew by myself while the brewer is off doing other stuff. I'm there's just like that's a big one. Like I never thought that I would get to that point, I guess. So that's a big one. And like learning a ton of other stuff, and I'm still learning so much, and I do so many dumb things still. But I don't know, it's been working out, and I'm still just like trucking along. We're gonna see how things go. I'm driving a forklift around, climbing up scary ladders. It's just like a ton of stuff that younger me never thought I would be able to do. And like that person a few years ago that would think about like, oh, like brewing would be awesome, but like you'll never be able to do it. Like I'm doing it, and I really don't want to mess up. The very first brewer that I worked with, he always said like, anyone can be a brewer. You have to have the passion behind it, and if you have the passion for beer, you can be a brewer. So now my goal going forward is still just trying to learn what I can. And I feel like at this point, I can do a lot of the stuff, but I don't know the like why I'm doing the stuff. So that's kind of my next goal, is like if people want to ask me a question about the brewing process, I want to be able to actually like give a good answer and not just like, I don't know, that's just how I do it. But yeah, that's my goal. I'm going to hop school in fall, so that will be fun. I don't know, it's a good time. My brewer that I work with right now is so nice and so knowledgeable, and I feel like we're good buds, and I love beer, so that is fun. In conclusion, I think I might have more to add, but I'll, I guess, make another video if that happens. You can do anything you set your mind to, because apparently I am a brewer. Assistant to the assistant brewer is what I like to say. We're doing it. We're living life out here, guys. Okay. Bye!